farm. But we were like, how do we go about this? So,
and I walked out with a riding crop in my hands, and I can't remember, something else, some
pair of handcuffs, wasn't it?
handcuffs or something, just as this couple poked past.
You lost the bracelet in the sheep?
Well, I had my bracelet on, and I just literally...
Disappointing thing is with that fella is dropped dead 2 days ago.
That's why it's so raw. That's why you're really upset.
I don't think we should be buying cheap again at that kind of money.
Welcome to the podcast where we're harvesting humor, planting delight. Join us, Iona and Cammy. Let's have some fun. It's time for Fed by Farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
We are glad to be back again this week. Glad? Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're glad.
Is that still good?
We're mid of lambing. No, I don't know what it is. Just a weird thing to say. I'm glad.
Glad. It's quite a nice word, glad.
It is actually, isn't it?
Glad, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad
you know
you
what's...
like it.
I was going to say I had a name I didn't like, but that's not nice in case there's people called that.
White. Oh, Gladys. Yeah, I could put two and two together. Gladys. There's not many Gladyses now.
No.
But it's a nice name, Gladys.
Yeah. I like it too.
Some folk don't like Iona. How'd about that?
Do they? Iona's a nice
most
name.
folk do
It's
like
a good
Iona.
name.
That is a good
Cameron's a
name.
good name as well.
Cameron's a very good name. Strong.
I meant to ask you, do you sign things Cammy or Cameron?
No, sign it C. Wilson.
Right.
Do many people write their first name when they sign things?
I don't
Donald Trump does.
Does he?
Donald J. Trump. You see it, he writes it on everything.
Does he?
Yeah. No, I just C. Wilson it. But yeah, I was thinking about names there. You're talking about Iona. Isla is the most popular name in Scotland
Really?
this year.
Isla's a
Well,
lovely name.
the UK actually, I think. No, maybe Scotland.
Isla's a
Scotland.
really, really nice name.
Yeah, Isla's a lovely name. I'm trying to think Isla's I know. Isla Shaw, Isla Robinson. The only two Islas that jumped ahead. Sorry if I forgot any of you Islas out there.
Shout out to the Islas.
But I think the most popular name is Mohammed.
Is it?
Yeah.
In the world or in the UK?
In the UK, but also in Scotland, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That's
Mohammed.
interesting.
Well, is it? I mean, it makes sense. It's like, it makes sense that the most popular boy's name is arguably the greatest sportsman that ever lived. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of these macho
I
men.
don't know any Mohammeds.
Muhammad Ali.
No, I mean like personally.
I was talking about Muhammad Ali there in case anybody was wondering. Do I know any Muhammads? I actually can't think off the top of my head.
Is Mo Farah a Mohammed?
Yes, Mo Farah is Mohammed. So, but in a lot of times, well, because Mohammed's such a popular name, they will not go by Mohammed. They'll maybe go by a middle name or things like that. But they're actually called Mohammed.
Aye.
Very common, but yeah, it makes sense. I mean, most popular sportsman that ever lived is the most popular boy's name. So I'd like to thank our sponsors. Who's our
Yes.
sponsors?
Hairdwatch and Crystalyx.
Thank you to Hairdwatch, the UK's, if not already, soon to be number one livestock management app. Can I say this on here? When's this going out?
Tomorrow.
It'll just be slightly ahead of the YouTube video. We've had our first live calf. So I'll get to go through the process of putting that calf
Wow.
on Hairdwatch.
That's
Exciting, because I can do cows and sheep on Hairdwatch. And I've also mapped out my wee 16 acres on it as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
How's the calf?
Oh.
Love it.
I've not been that excited about anything in farming for years.
You literally just bought a farm.
But even that's not exciting. Like, it's hard to explain. It is exciting, but it's not.
I know.
It's just terror.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think it's quite. I think I've spoken about it, but there isn't. It's nowhere near as exciting and as happy as it should be buying a farm, because for 25 years I need to pay $5,000 a month.
I know.
That's pressure. That's
Yeah, it is. It is.
Whereas the calf, it's just a calf. It's beautiful.
And was it
It's
all
alive.
fine?
Spat it out of cell. Beautiful. Perfection. The colours are perfection. It's a beef shorthorn, but colours perfection. Bull calf. I'd like the heifer.
Okay.
But a bull calf, amazing. Which leads us to our next sponsor, Crystalyx. I had to buy my first Crystalyx tub in about 4 years.
Why were you out?
No, because I've got cows now. So I went and got a high mag bucket.
Right.
I think that's what you do for putting her out to grass. The cow that's producing milk, it's good for her, I think.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong there. I might have picked that up wrong. Yeah, so I had to buy. I bought a bucket of Crystalyx. For any wonders, usually Crystalyx has been very good to me. Usually we get our Crystalyx delivered on the farm pre-lambing, and that's all part of the kind of sponsorship of the channel. Whereas, just went out and bought one.
Good on you.
Aye. Heartbreaking. But yeah, a green one. So I'm just going to have a good collection of different coloured buckets because they do a black one as well. And they do an organic one, which I think is grey, but I might never need that. But, once you start the collection,
you got to keep going.
see it through. Anyway, who's this week's guests?
Andrew and Joe Morris.
Andy and Joe, good friends of mine. Even before they were famous on This Farm in Life. And their new Facebook page, Logie Farm, Newborough. Do check them out. Good, honest folk. They moved down from Caithness, bought a farm. We're going to talk about all this. Took on big debts. And... yeah, they've been under pressure ever since. So we talk a lot about that, their experience with This Farm in Life. And they're genuine, just good folk.
Yeah,
I've been scanning for them
open.
for about 5 years now, 6 years.
Yeah.
And they're just, decent folk. So we'll just get into that and then we'll come back. We'll reconvene at the end.
Let's do it.
Here we go. And we're here with Andrew and Joe Morris, world famous. Is it world famous yet? Has it been out in England yet?
I think so, yeah.
Has it? It's in the iPlayer, so it's obviously everywhere. But I know the last season they only did it in Scotland for a while, and then it was a delay
did they?
going out in England. Yes, we're of course talking about This Farm in Life.
I think we're Newborough famous. I got recognised in a chemist.
Oh, did you?
I told you the other day.
Somebody stopped
Right,
me in Asda
okay.
the other day.
To be fair, you do see that pharmacist every week. So I mean, it's not.
Twice a week sometimes, right?
It's like, Joe, good to see you again. It's like, I've never heard of This Farm in Life. No, so I mean, you guys have obviously went down a storm. I think it's fair to say. Have you had good feedback from this season so far?
Yeah, it's been
Really nice actually.
Positive, yeah.
Most of the messages are from sort of just a variety of different kind of people within farming and out with. But I think a lot of people who are obviously wanting to embark on a new adventure themselves in farming and, going to have to take on a bit of debt to do that. And I think it's maybe given a bit of encouragement to some people. So that's been quite nice in some ways to think we've maybe supported some of that folk.
And what was it that made you want to do it?
Andrew didn't know about it until,
Did you know?
No.
until I told him that the
Oh, you didn't know you were entered for it?
I didn't know.
All right.
Until Jojo
So
sprung up.
had you just done it?
I just didn't, because I knew you'd say no straight off. It's just that I'll avoid it for as long as possible. And then when we got to the point that who was that person that came out?
I can't remember. She was
The casting
Yeah.
lady came out. I felt like I had to say to Andrew, she had a cam on her shoulder, and I told you the day before. And Andrew shook his head and went, "What?" And I just said,
not doing that. No way.
"Yeah." And then I tried you again at night, and
I said, right, okay, well, we'll
So
speak to her.
I had a big row, have a wee bit of space. He's playing it down a bit here. Yeah, had a big row. We thought I better give him a couple of hours.
I'm not good with anything sprung upon me or anything out the order, and I'm quite right. This is the way we're doing it, and that's it. So it's like all of a sudden, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to push you outside your comfort zone a wee bit.
I'm like, I don't know.
And just, yeah, your biggest problem is you're in whack. It's so much confidence. And I was trying to say that you're perfect as you are. It'll be totally fine. I thought it would be, for us, I kind of thought it'd be a really nice way of snapshotting 3 generations farming, which I'm so bad now, since we've had the twins, I hardly even have a photo on my phone of us doing anything.
Those and sheep, and there's plenty of photos you've got in the. Let's all doing stuff together, innit?
Now you have a video.
yeah, well, that's it. Exactly.
But I think you're onto something what you say there. Like, and I've mentioned before in this podcast, like, see the value of that. Okay, just now it's all fresh in it, but see the value of that in 20 years' time. Like when the girls get older and can appreciate it more and can look back on it and like, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do.
It was a great experience actually when we got right into it. The first couple of, when you got a camera in front of you and the microphone on, and he's like, and asking, so what, and you're like, and you're like, how are they going to get any sense of what I've just said there? You know?
Yeah.
We were the first to do the valleys.
Yeah, well, that's inflated, doesn't it?
We were clipping the valleys. There must have been this time last year.
It was January, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, and we hadn't clipped.
They came, it was like first day with the camera, and stood in front of us, and they went, "So who's this?" And it was, I mean, obviously it was a valley top, and I went, and you went, and then I went, "Oh, it's a sheep." It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
We just couldn't cope. We were like, "This is a terrible mistake." And
So the funny thing is, they never shown any of that.
No,
anyway.
it's so bad.
Yeah. It must have been pretty bad. But once we got over that, it was actually the guy that was doing the footage was really good. He was an Irish lad, and he was really he became really quite a good friend.
Yep.
And it was easy to speak to him. It was just speak away to him. You know, that's what you're doing here, and you kind of forgot the camera was there. Really, it was.
But I think that's the secret behind this farming life is the people filming it.
Absolutely,
Like, they don't actually get the credit they probably deserve, but they ask great questions. They run about and get in the right spots and try not to be in the wrong spots.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which makes such a difference. Like I think that's always our worry with camera people coming and non-farming people.
Yeah.
I think it helped that certainly the guy that we got, Mark, he was fantastic in terms of he'd done it before.
Yeah.
So he did have a bit of like agricultural savvy, but he was right into rugby too. So although he wasn't obviously through farmer, I kind of felt like you particularly had a lot of sort of shared values, and you know, just like he was keen to get stuck in about. He was always like, you felt like you could have really good conversations with him, and yeah, you're just easy going.
But it was quite funny because if you're in the middle of doing something and he asks you a question, you tell him, and then he would like 2 minutes later he'd say, right, he'd ask you it again, because obviously he wasn't happy the way you kind of said it. So it was quite, and you're like, he asked me that 4 times today, you know, and I'm just like, I think I've had enough of this, but it was just to get it across right, and he knew what he was after, and since watching the show, we're really pleased.
Well.
It's fantastic how it's come across.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have came across that. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But actually, I must admit, I like this season. You know, some people, like for example, a lot of farmers get, it's not enough. No dairy farmers is a big one.
Yeah.
Folk gets upset about, but it's so hard to get a dairy farmer on
That's
board.
what I was going to say. People,
Yeah, because so hard because it's dairy. It's such a if it's not been filmed properly or whatever, it can look out of context or look wrong. You know, it's hard to get them involved in it. So I mean, it takes us like all the fears you had.
Yeah,
like it takes a set of balls, or in this case, it doesn't, to get yourself thrown in there.
Yeah.
See for people that don't know you or never heard this farming life or seen it, better give us a brief synopsis of what you're actually doing, what you're farming, how many acres, where are you?
So we are farming in Newgrad, just a couple of miles, just into Fife, into North Fife. We bought that farm 6 years ago. We moved down from Caithas.
2018, yeah.
So you're both from farming backgrounds?
No, I'm a Downey. Xandra calls me. Oh.
Yeah, I'm probably 5th or maybe 6th generation farmer.
Right,
So
okay.
Farmed in Caithness all our lives. We're over 100 years in the farm that we're in, and met Jojo at the Highland Show of all places, you know. And you came up and lived.
Moved up in 2008.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was up there for 10, 11 years, and then we decided to move down for a variety of reasons. There was one reason, and then we bought, obviously lucky to get Logie. We always said we don't think we'd get it now. You know, okay, so the way the market's going now, we were just very lucky.
Yeah, the funny thing was money was quite cheap then. It's crazy to say, but when you're buying money to buy money, but it was actually, insurance rates weren't quite so bad, and when we looked into it and had a business plan, it was, this is achievable, you know. But we had to have this diversification project up and running by year 5, or year 3 preferably, but definitely by year 5.
This is a Logies.
This is a holiday accommodation, yeah. But then of course we had coronavirus came into it straight away.
Brexit just before it.
No, Brexit just before it. Yeah, that's right. Because we had deferred a payment on that for a year because of the Brexit. We didn't know what was going to happen with the markets and stuff. So we're geared up for that. And then coronavirus came in and
That just delayed everything.
but made everything more expensive as well. Like all the timber and stuff for building the infrastructure and stuff. And then we just got over that, and then the war started, the Ukraine war. So up put prices all over the place again as well. So we've been in it 6 years, but we've never had a kind of rub of the green. You know, it's just been one thing after the next. And then last year, when we were doing all the filming, was probably the worst year we had, you know, financially, because of the failed crops and the poor lambing, you know. So we had to run back cap in hand again to the banker this year.
I think the actual question was, what do we do at Logie?
Oh, was it?
No, but you're getting into the main. But you're moving nicely.
Yeah,
you know, one
absolutely.
of the most common, because obviously people saw that I was up there scanning sheep for you. And interestingly, I think, did I scan your sheep the first year you were in there? Or the second year? No,
second.
Stuart did it.
Stuart did
And then
it,
Stuart
yeah,
couldn't get to you. That's right.
You had to have surgery on your neck, mate, and we just couldn't.
That's right.
And I
You couldn't
we had a
come
short
when he was in
window,
the area.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, like, but it must be 5 or 6 years now going up there. So obviously people know you. So they'd always be asking me the same thing: is how can they make that pay? That's the question. And I thought it was great that you were so honest with like your mortgage. Did you say the mortgage payment's 14,000 a month? Is that what it says in the thing, or 12,000 a month?
That's just that's the main bit. Yeah.
More on top of that.
Aye, there's more on top. That's just us paying down what would be like our mortgage, if you know what I mean. I mean, think of a living. You know, we've got half probably like a lot of other farmers. There's payments come with that, and just generally, you know, trying to balance up everything in terms of we've got a big arable section of the farm, so spraying your ferts, all your inputs and that. And I've come to realise, I think, and Andrew having always been a farmer, and the fact that I have another job where I get a salary every month, it is like feast or famine on the farm. So you have to forecast forward quite a bit, which is pretty scary sometimes when you know like these months are quite tough when, you know, we're just waiting for lambs to arrive. The crops are just starting out in the ground, you know, but there's nothing really that's going to pay, you know. So these kind of months, we've got some veg lettuce and things that we've interfield out here and there. You know, there's income coming in that way, but it's tough to make it pay. It is tough. So.
And why do you rent fields out?
We rent fields out just, well, there's kind of two benefits. First one is obviously it's a guaranteed source of income, and the second is it's a great way for a break in the crops. You know, it puts nitrogen and whatever else back in the.
Yeah, it's a great.
So what crops is it's going in?
So it's a great crop rotation. When we got the farm, it had been solely in cereal for the last 30 years, so a mixture of wheat and barley. Before that, 30 years ago, the previous guy was Guy Arbuckle, and they were right into their tatties. So it was a great tatty growing place. And fruit, yeah, he did soft fruits as well. So the land had been just cereal for 30 years. So it was needing a change and a turnover. So we rent out land again for potatoes and then for energy beet, which goes into a biodigester plant, which is a totally different story again. And then there's another field, we rent out another bit for broccoli or calabrese or veg, you know.
And big benefits with that is that it takes different things out of the soil as opposed to your standard crops, and what you also get a lot of organic matter going back in because there's a lot left over.
Absolutely, and it adds to it adds like the broccoli, for example, adds a lot of nitrogen into the soil. So and it just organic matter is the main thing. But the great thing with the broccoli is once they go through it and lift all the heads off it, we can get the leaves in for the sheep to go on.
That's good.
It's nice to get the lambs on it. Yeah, that's working.
That's fantastic.
Back in.
That was an absolutely fantastic. You don't have to feed anything. You just put them on that there, and they're just like barrels, and they come off it. You know.
Yeah, that's.
And everything that goes through the sheep goes back on the ground, so you're still not robbing anything out of the field. You know. You get a fantastic crop of oats into the back of that. You know, you hardly need any fertilizer.
Are you rotating that round now all the time? Because surely, like ground, I don't know too much about it, but like ground, if ground's in crops for all the years, does it not wreck the ground?
Yeah, that's why you need a rotation. Yeah. So we have that rotation. It's kind of every 5 years, really. That the potatoes.
We put grass into our rotation too. So we've got one field that was in crop a couple of years ago, and now we've had sheep on it for a couple of years, and we're about to put it. It's going to go into veg this year.
Yeah, hopefully to get an early cut silage off it, and then plough it and put it in veg, and then get the veg be able to eat. Sheep at the back end, and then probably go back into a spring crop. Then I would think the following year. So it's something that we had to get our head. You know. I mean, moving down from Caithness, where we were a traditional farm with 100 suckler cows and 300-400 ewes and a bit of arable just to feed the livestock, it was totally different. Whereas, this arable, it's not just a case of plant that there and see what we get out of it. It's going to have to work, you know.
Yep.
So it was a fair bit of it was a right challenge, and that's I think what I was certainly needing was a kind of new challenge. And I'm still every day you're learning, but it's I'm quite excited by it. And you think it's kind of taken us to now to get our feet under the table and know exactly what we need. But as I said, we haven't had an easy rub of the green up until now. So it's like we're kind of scrapping after everything, you know.
Crystalyx Extra High Energy Feed Blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalyx range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalyx-global.com.
So how do you make your payments then?
So basically, I would say a good chunk of like the debt, if we just start with the debt, is paid. I went full time at my work.
What is your job?
I'm a solicitor, so I'm a director in a law firm, and I head up a team of it's family law. Really, I do dispute work. So we'll do a bit of rural dispute, and the rest is sort of divorces and things to do with child contact issues and things. So I went back full time, and then we've got our farm diversification. So it's our holiday pods, if you want to call them. That is up and running, and we're in our 3rd year now, and that has been doing touchwood really well. Really pleased with that. It's totally something that neither of us have ever done before.
Yeah. You've went very high end. Anybody that's not seen them before, they can obviously find you on Instagram. It's at
Logie Farm Snug.
Logie
Snug
Farm.
at Logie Farm, yeah.
Snug at Logie Farm.
And how many lodges do you have?
We've got 2, but we've got a third one on that we're just about to open. I had my council inspection yesterday for my licence, so fingers crossed.
So did you get grants or things towards them?
We missed out. There was maybe you would have heard of the leader grants.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
By the time we had moved, they were certainly in Fife. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. So one of the things we've always said is it's been really tough, but we genuinely have not received a penny of help. I've searched for it, but there's been nothing. I think it was really bad timing with COVID coming in. Everything just going to halt, and for us, for the business, we knew we had to get it open. So
Yeah, we couldn't wait for anything. We just had to get going.
Yeah, to pay the bills.
Yeah,
So
we
is
had
the-
to, yeah.
So for the £14,000 mortgage payments, is that basically being funded by the pods?
no. I mean, this is like
What did the pods
Apart
turn
from
over?
last
What did
year-
they turn over?
70.
Yeah.
It was about 70 last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all right. It's all right, the money for that year.
So we're hoping with a third one on, it'll help as well. You know,
Yeah.
the third one's a slightly bigger one, so you can get families. There's a kitchen and stuff in it, so people can
Yeah, it's
stay
a
for a
beast
bit
of a
longer.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
different design.
It's marginally bigger, but I think it's just.
Yeah, it's the one that was on This Farm in Life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one that they lifted in over. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I think we always feel that we turn away a lot of business. And it's never been exclusively adults only where we are, but each of our snugs only sleep 2 just now. So we decided that we were going to try and get one that we could get a sofa bed and maybe a wee kitchenette so folk might want to stay longer.
Yeah.
And by them staying longer, it might take a wee bit of pressure off me and Andrew to work.
Less
Changing
changeovers.
them.
Yeah, I tend to do changeovers like on my lunch break and things like that. My lunch break, yeah. You know what I mean? At lunchtime.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just feel the day that Lodge arrived, I wasn't very well and I was in hospital, and it was a real wake up call for us because we realised that we're both not invincible. And with me coming out the game for it was probably 6 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. It was really difficult because Andrew had to do everything plus look after the kids, and yeah, so we were trying to think forward and think actually it'd be quite good if we weren't having to do changeovers all the time.
Okay, so 70 grand coming in off that. Obviously, a lot of get costs with it as well, and there'll be repayments on that too. But I mean, I take it you're on a big wage then as well. Well, if you're a
I'm on a good
director,
wage.
if you're like a leader,
I'm on a good wage. I work.
are you a partner in the business? No, just a director.
A legal director.
What's
yeah.
that mean? Like just below
It's a job
partner?
title. Yeah, it's a job title. I've worked
But
my way up.
would your next step be partner?
If I was wanting to buy into
Oh, you need to buy in. That's right. Of course. Aye.
And if that was
I struggled to do that just now.
That's what I was going to say. That's yeah. That's all we need is
Got
more.
sheep to buy first.
Yeah, yeah.
if that was offered to me, then obviously that would be something to think about.
Plus, you'd be really tied to it then, wouldn't you? Not that you don't want,
Yeah, I am.
in case your bosses are watching, but you know you're very tied to it once you're a partner.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in that firm now. Actually, that firm has most of my work is Caithness and Highland based work because we have an office up in Wick and we have one in Edinburgh.
Right.
So I worked for that same firm really well before we got married. Once I was married, once I had all the kids, and then when we moved down. So and I stopped working then when we moved down here, and then covered a maternity leave for them, and then just never left, to be honest. And yeah, it's a really important source of income for us to keep everything going. But the main earner in the whole farm is the arable side of the business is, I think did we not do a pie chart once? And it was predominantly arable. The pods had a good whack of it. The sheep, we've struggled. I think last year was the first year we've actually turned a decent profit on the sheep. We just struggled terribly. We had to double our numbers of the sheep, which was fine. But we didn't. Things in Fife are completely different. Caithness, like blowfly. That was.
Yeah, you're starting a new business in a different climate. It was a bit difficult to
I see
start with.
you don't get blowfly up in Caithness.
Never ever seen it before.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
I'd seen it on the odd sheep in between their feet.
Yeah,
or
but not
something.
like it is down here.
Oh no! I mean, the first year I was going off. I was carting silage. I was got a contracting job, and I was going past, and the sheep were fine just watched them when we were going past in the tractor, you know. And I came back and said, lambs are not well at all. So I went round them and there was lambs just down and lying dead, like fit lambs. What the hell's wrong with them? And it was blowfly they'd got, you know. It was just one of that really hot years. And I just couldn't get my head around it. And I was speaking to 2 or 3 folk and said, you need to click your lambs should have all been clicked. Like, never had to do that in my life before. So
Yeah,
it was a thing that we didn't know, you know. And then it took a kind of couple of years to get that right and get the right stuff on them. Because, you know, you put that on and then you're like, well, is that the right stuff or not? And then you think, I should have put that stuff on. And then if you put the stuff on that lasts too long, you're dipping them. And we dipped 1 year. We had your man and Neil, and he dipped 1 year for us. That was because we were buying from all over the places. So we were buying in just a mixture of everything.
Worried about what you're getting.
We were getting a bit of issue, but this is the first year when we haven't had to buy in too much.
We find when we moved, we likened it to sort of, I don't know, flies around a carcass, and that we were the carcass, and we had every sales rep, every person with their opinion telling us all what to do. And there was an element of, I think at the start we were all like, yeah, they must be right, they must be right, they must be right. But I think we've come to realise through time that we're like, that's all great, like always love advice and always love to ask for advice. We're all you know, but there is an element of, I think, sometimes you just have to make the mistakes for yourself because everybody's different. You know, how you farm here is probably totally different from how we're farming in Fife.
Yeah.
And we've made probably a lot more mistakes than we've had successes. But I don't know. I mean, we always say that to the kids, don't we? We're like, you have to make mistakes to know how to try better. It's all about that sort of, isn't it? That flip of trying again and trying to get it right.
Yeah, it's as long as you realise it's a mistake and change what you're doing rather than just doing the same bloody thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But what makes you guys, or you guys have to stay sharp is the debt. Like, I think there's a lot of farmers, and I honestly, it's the most common thing to me is about this debt, because a lot of farmers blow their mind because a lot of them, the farm's bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And they probably think, oh, we hardly make any money as it is, like them themselves. But then they don't have to make that much money.
Well,
because the farm's paid for, they don't have to be that at the front.
We often comment on it when we're sitting around the table saying, if we didn't have this debt, would be a well-oiled machine, like.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing that is because we've got this debt and we've had to change things up to make it work. Whereas you maybe go around and you see some farms that are maybe struggling to make money, but I could probably see why, you know. But you don't have that pressure to make it better. You know, maybe you've got 100 cows, but you're only calving 80 of them and stuff like that. Whereas everything we've got has to be making money for us. You know, we can't afford any passengers, and it's and probably that way it's maybe made us better farmers. Maybe you know,
I think you have to be. I think there is a bit of that.
You know?
Yeah. I think there is a bit of that. Like with the dairy guys. And we've said this loads of times in this podcast that Duncan McEwen said a great thing I use all the time. It's like the dairy's like the F1 of farming because you have to be on the detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the margins are so tight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're not on it and you're not at the top of the game, you're going to get blown out.
Absolutely.
And somebody else will swallow you up.
Yeah.
And it's the same with farms with debt like yourself. Have you ever missed a payment?
No, never.
No?
Never. No, genuinely never. No, I'm not saying like we haven't got a lot of free money, like the thought of would be amazing to like put up another shed or something, but we just know that we are committed just now to just paying that debt down. And I think since interest rates have gone up, we've literally just been like, we just got our heads down and we're just like, we have to, you know.
Did they affect you? Are we already fixed in lower? Like, are you still fixed into when you first bought it, or were you fixed for?
Yeah, we stayed. Well, we looked at trying to change it up, but obviously we borrowed money at a good price then.
Oh, it used to be amazing, yeah. Compared to now,
yeah. So it makes sense to us just to persevere, and we don't want to go and try and start again and buy refinance.
So is your mortgage just fixed for the whole time? That never varies.
No, it's a bit. No,
it's a variable.
Oh, it follows. But the margin, sorry, it follows the Bank of England base rate.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Because we did look at redoing it.
Yeah,
it would have been no
for
better
a
off.
term. Okay, yeah.
It would have been for another term, but we wouldn't have been.
7, 6.
So did you not? So you must have had a big jump then when it did go up.
Aye.
Massively, like genuinely, I was distraught. I think at that point,
It was
it went
another
up.
5,000 or something.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
something like that.
That's why I said it's like shoveling daylight in a dark hole. It's like this is just for nothing, really. You know,
It's for nothing. It's interest. It's
that's
just money to the bank.
That's not just 5,000. That's 5,000 a month. You know?
I know.
Yeah. How long's your term?
30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So about 25 to go.
To get to 10 years, I think would be a good. You know, that would to me would feel like a good achievement to be getting to 10 years, feeling on top of it, feeling like you've not missed a payment, and like, you know, we basically erred on the fact that interest rates are never going to come down anytime soon. So there's no point sitting wishing for that great day. You know, we just trying to stick up at the high day. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We've got the arable, we've got the sheep working now. We have the pods with, hopefully I'll just be opening a third one soon, which again, all this money drills down.
It just kind of shows that when we're farming up in Caithness, which is a fantastic part of the world, but the values is not as great up there because the population is not as big. So to try and buy a farm further south, you nearly, it's for the next generation, you know, because we've got to do all the hard work, but it's for the next generation if they're wanting to take it on or not.
Yeah.
I've lost that kind of emotional tie, you know, when you've always been in a farm for the whole of your life, it's been in the family. I've kind of lost that since we've come south.
Okay, it's just a new place.
So it's
almost like one generation.
If we have
again.
to turn around in 20 years and sell it, it's fine, you know, if the girl's not interested. Whereas if I was still up in Caithness, it'd be, you know, because you knew who the neighbours were, you knew everybody. It's a bit like your dad says, you know, in his farm, it's just like, you've that emotional tie is really strong, but I've kind of broken that tie now, and it's not quite so. It's not quite a big a burden on you, I don't think. You know,
you don't have that worry of the next generation
thinking about what
taking it
would
on.
they have said if you'd sold it.
Just think to the future how minty it will be when you stay sell it and just retire into the sunset of the great. You'll be in a big pension. You'll be in a big pension.
We'll be like the folk in Benidorm, you know, like, of my electric scooter and my tan.
Remember Benidorm? Are you talking about Johnny Vegas Benidorm? God, I actually didn't watch that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, it's funny. It is ridiculous. It's funny.
We're realistic to know if we managed to survive all of these lumps of the road and all the plans the government has for farmers and everything, we're realistic to know that the girls are going to go off with our money. So we've always just banked on it'd be nice to have a paid off cottage at somewhere.
To retire into.
And if not, the pods are movable. So we could wheel one on the bow with a tow bar.
Well, your father stays on the farm.
Yeah.
Is that right? I think he's in a cottage on the farm.
Yeah, well, there was only one house on the farm when we moved, so that was a kind of, you know, moving down from Caithness that was some expedition, wasn't it? So we had to try and find a farm. So when we decided that we're going to move down south, we were like, right, how do we go about buying a farm? You know, so we were at the Highland Show, and we went on the Savile stand, and we said, and they said, "Oh, can you help?" You know, we're just dressed. We've just been working with sheep. They said, "Can we help you?" Then we said, "We're just we want to buy a farm." But we were like, "How do we go about this?" So, we managed to. There wasn't a big lot on the market, and we managed to find this one. And then, but we had, because Mum and Dad are coming with us, so we're going to need two houses. But there was very few. You know, you weren't buying a farm because it had two houses. You had to buy the farm for the land to be right. And,
We did need somewhere, I think, because we had, I mean, at that point we have 3 kids under 3, as you'll know, just trying to navigate that and think we need something that's habitable. It'd be different. We always said this, see if it was just the two of us, we wouldn't have minded moving somewhere with like in a static caravan or something like that.
For a few years.
And because remember we looked at land somewhere and we thought maybe we could just buy the land and build on it, you know, and start from scratch. But
we managed to get Logie, and then we had a lodge that were getting built for Mum and Dad, so it was built quite quick. So we moved in the December and it arrived in the May. So they're in this. It's what do you call it?
It's really nice. It's just like a massive like 2-bedroom lodge, and then they've built like, you know, your dad's got his polytunnel, and they've got like a big, what I thought was a garage, but it seems more like a shed.
It's more like a workshop for him.
Yeah.
So they've got that. So it's another bit of value we've added to the farm as well, you know, by putting that on it. So
there was no real fences or anything. I remember the first lambing, I was convinced Andrew wasn't going to make it out the other end, because I've never heard somebody shouting so much. The dogs, we were trying to move ewes and lambs one way, and then there was lambs like suddenly running off, popping through single wire fences into another field with, you know, their mum's going that way, they're in this other field, and it was just a nightmare. So we were fencing as we went.
Yeah. It was new to us all. It was even new to the dogs. You know, when the dogs coming down, they didn't have a clue the lie of the land or that, and they were, where are we going here? And, you know, we got sheep out in the road, and it was just single wire fences. Of course, they were just piling through the fences, eh? And the dogs were like, what's going on here? They never had this experience before. So it was, the first few years, you look back, it was some fun, wasn't it?
You and your dad started fencing as we were lambing.
Lambing,
So Andrew, his dad were getting challenged, and they had another guy helping us with the lambing, but he got taken off that. And there was really just me and the girls and I don't know if we even have it. So at that point, I go, it's just
You were
really
just
posing
watching
you if it was a
it,
bother, and
Yeah.
if not, just
I
get
was
on
trying
with
to get it. If there's any problems, then back to the fencing again. Once we got the Ryla Cup, it was fine, you know.
Yeah.
But it was just a rush to get it up. But aye.
Do you, I mean, debt brings a massive pressure with it, obviously, and do you argue a lot?
No, I would say we don't argue. I would say I get very worried about it,
Yeah.
and Andrew's like pretty calm and pretty cool. And I think because you're
Well, it's awkward for you having to go to court as a solicitor to deal with the bankruptcy thing. You know, it's like, oh, I've seen all your mates and that. Like,
Oh, she says that a few times.
Oh, it's like, I know this judge up all right. We'll have 10 pence on the dollar or thing. But yeah, so you worry about it a bit more.
like we've all got different skill sets, don't we? So I would more drill down into the detail, and you know, I tend to highlight things to Andrew where I'm thinking that's maybe a problem, or what do you think about this? But you tend to, I think you tend to rationalise it or in your mind easier. You're a lot more resilient than I am. I would say possibly. Andrew always comes up with something.
Just dive back into work and forget about it and hope it all comes right.
Well, that's the thing, you know. I mean, you've got to keep your head down and get on with stuff, haven't you? It's easy just to say, I'm not going to bother doing that, but when you're after every pound note, you have to make sure everything's right. So.
But like a jump of $5,000 a month for a lot of people would absolutely break them. Like, it'd just be like, what's the point of this? You know, because I mean, dare I say it, there's no doubt. Well, there's no doubt that from since you bought it, the way land prices have gone, I dare say you could sell the farm and walk out it and be in a serious profit. You know, a tidy profit already.
Because Andrew just always wanted to be a farmer. He's always said that. And then I think he said it on Farming Life that is amazing as the holiday boards have been, and we're, you know, really growing.
I mean, hands down, they make the money, you know. It's like, why are you wasting your time lambing you? Just horrible. But
yeah, but you always say that you think it's sad that to produce food, you know, we're filling up hot tubs and, you know.
To make a farm pay, you have to
easier money.
diversify. You can't just farm.
It's easier money, you know, selling a lifestyle thing for somebody to come and stay the weekend than it is producing food for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And it's like, it doesn't really make sense, but that's just the way it is. That's the way the world is just now. Everybody's got spare money to go on holiday or to pay for their phones or pay for this, that, and other thing. Whereas, well, price of bread's gone up a bit. Well, gee whiz, that's expensive now, you know. Why is that?
But
never
do
think
folk
that.
even have spare money? I think we just spend money on the wrong things. Do they have spare money? I mean, they do those things.
Well,
they spend money on the things you say.
Yeah, well, that was the thing.
Is it spare money, or is it actually what's making them
Yeah.
stressed and
Yeah.
in their overdraft and tight for everything?
Yeah.
Because we did think, you know, when the whole coronavirus after that, and then, you know, the energy and everything went, we're like, is people going to have money for spending on a couple of nights away or a night away? But they did.
To be fair, everybody was minted after COVID.
Yeah, and
That, you know, that's probably the
Saves an
wealthiest.
absolute fortune.
It's probably the wealthiest most people have been.
that actually probably did feed into our hands a wee bit. 'Cause
Because
very
and
few
you
people
couldn't
going
travel
abroad. Yeah,
Yeah.
very few people going abroad, and they were looking for these breaks, you know. But
But then we weren't able to, I would just say we didn't benefit massively of that because we didn't manage to open until the
no, I know.
end of
Because the
it.
government kept you closed.
Well, no, we just couldn't get the materials.
No, we
like
didn't.
everything, the people building the pods,
Struggling to get.
they were struggling to get things. They get things from abroad. They couldn't get it in, you know, and it was just like knock-on effects. You know, if we couldn't get this, couldn't get that, and it just delayed it massively. You know, even remember like hot tubs and things like that. It was
and like the decking and stuff, it was arriving because they couldn't get the parts for some of the pods, wasn't it? There was parts couldn't come from China or something, wasn't there? Was a problem with something anyway. And we had the decking guy booked. He said, well, they have to be here. So they were here because the decking price was going up the whole time. We're like, well, we fixed them in. We need to get them here. So the pods arrived, but they weren't quite ready. The boys had to come back and forth and make sure they were right. So it was just, it was a right kind of...
Where are these pods from? Like they like Swedish or something? Or?
no, they're built just below Edinburgh.
Oh, are they okay?
Well,
And they come all built and then they just hoy them in with the
Yeah,
crane?
that was what they were supposed to be. Just
And you
drop
do
them
the
in and
landscaping?
plug them in. Yeah, we just did all the
We
drainage.
started when we were first going to do it. I remember saying to Andrew, how much do you think like these things, you know, we should spend on these things? And we were trying to pay maybe like 5,000, you know, maybe that's what it is.
That wouldn't even get the hot tub, I bet.
I went off looking at things
Yeah,
to
that's
that
fine.
kind of price. I remember phoning you up and I was like, oh, Andrew, I was like, you can't save this over the winter, I mean, because for us, because it's,
Oh, that's the first one you looked at?
yeah, literally, I was like, you know, we need them to be open all year round, you know, to help supporting the pavements. You know, some people just do a season, but we open. So I was like, winter it has to be really comfortable, on the floor, whatever. And as time went on, it became really apparent. I was like, nah, like we need to rejig this. Remember somebody said, oh, what about what's it like wooden tents or something? And I was like, okay, on the side of the hill in the winter.
Because it is an unbelievable view, but you've got them like they're right on the hill looking out across. What is that bit that look across? The River Tay.
It's nice, and it looks right over into the Perthshire Hills, and yeah, it's stunning. And we always, even when we go up there, we always feel, don't we, like you're a million miles away from.
It's your kind of thinking spot. You go up there, it's a nice place to get away from it all, especially when there's nobody in. It's quite nice. It always was. The previous guy as well. It was his kind of, because you come around the top and all of a sudden it just opens up in front of you, and that's kind of playing into our hands.
It gives you a great
selling point. That's.
But, have you seen a lift from this farm in life?
In
more traffic, bookings.
You had a couple.
Yeah.
Are we already pretty busy? Is it booked all the time? Is it?
No, I would say we always think this, that it books like a couple of months in advance. Like we don't have loads of bookings like for next year or anything just now, and it tends to be like now our bookings have just started picking up quite a bit. But like bookings for like March and April, if you know what I mean, and and that's kind of how it works. It seems to have. I don't know if it's just because we do one night stays, so it's just quite a. I don't know. It seems quite a rare thing, and then we offer that kind of, I suppose, like unique kind of. It's got kind of funky vibe up there, isn't it? Quite different kind of vibe. People just book it last minute.
Yeah, speaking of one night stays and funky vibes, do you have any stories we had Beachy in? I don't know if you saw Beachy's one talking about the
swimsuit stuck.
The swimsuit, yeah.
Not really. There was remember that time after the first Valentine's Day we did. So again, a lot of them tend to be like, say, whatever weekend it is, it's normally whatever side of Valentine's Day or Valentine's Day. I was up cleaning them out. I think it was like a Saturday, and there's a really nice old couple that always walk their dogs back and forward. And we know them, that's fine, and wave and whatever. And I mind walking out. I'm sure you were up at your car doing something, and I walked out with a riding crop in my hands. And I can't remember something else. Some
pair of handcuffs, wasn't it?
Handcuffs or something. Just as this couple walked past, and we were all just laughing. To be fair, they've got a great sense of humor, so just laughing. And I was like, it's Valentine's Day, and I'm sure the guy shouted something about what was it? The police been out or something? Because I was telling
the kids put them in the dressing up box. They had them the handcuffs. And you put them in. Georgia put them in the dishwasher first, so make sure they're clean.
The UV light over them. That's so you can play with them kids. That's fine.
I did. They went in the dishwasher, and then the kids still play with them now in their police outfit and whatever they've got.
Brilliant. And what about the riding crop? Where'd that go?
It was snapped. You don't remember? Because it
was there. Had you been a bit hard?
Because you're a hard woman. They'd actually snapped it. The folk used the thing and snapped it.
They just left it in the rubbish bin, the waste paper bin inside, as if like it was a perfectly normal.
Jeez, the poor fella, or vice versa, whatever. Snapped a bloody riding crop down where you could snap a riding crop. Fair play.
No, it's we see some interesting.
But nobody's with it just been two folk. Then you won't get like mad parties, so nobody wrecks the place.
No, we've
pretty good.
We haven't been.
Our biggest struggle probably is, and we actually just did this very recently, is one of them we allow dogs to come to.
Okay.
And that, as much as like we've got dogs and we love dogs and whatever, it's nice white bed sheets, and it's because it's like inside it's like a 5-star hotel room, and that's kind of what it's modelled on the glass end. And I always say to people, please don't have your dogs on the bed, and I put special covers, thinking if you're going to do that, at least. But that doesn't. So it can be.
And they're out in the country there, so they'll probably walk the dog, get mucky,
and then
But there's nothing
we've let dogs in our one, but I think your one will be all right. Will it? You don't like it.
It's amazing the amount of folk that take their dogs with them, though.
It was our neighbours that rent a cottage out, and they said, tell you the big game changers, let them bring a dog, because we're like a country cottage. And it's 2 bedrooms, and it's
near the beaches as well. People are going to bring them walks.
Yeah, and the type of folk, maybe an older couple or family that want to come. You're poor, 2 folk want a one night at Valentine's. Don't want to bring. Well, some folk might want to bring a dog, but that's another thing altogether. But that's not such a big thing. But our type of cottage, and I think somebody already booked with a dog.
Yeah, and
do we need to get a cage for it? Should we provide a cage?
We don't. We just we put a bed and like
a dog bed. That'll still sleep in the bed with them.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with us, isn't it?
Aye.
But you can't. It's funny because you see folk going up, and you can't you can't judge them at all. You know, one time there was folk came up with a big fancy, well, it wasn't a big fancy, but it was like a discovery or something. I thought, they'll be fine. The place was just not quite ransacked, but there's drinks spilled everywhere, and it's
no.
it wasn't easy. A young couple going up with a little wee fancy car, and you're like, oh, they're going to just have a right party animal, and the place is immaculate.
Yeah,
So you can't judge people by their cover, like, you know, it's...
I think generally for us, we've always been like, because it's so fundamental to our business and we genuinely appreciate everybody that comes and stays, we can just let things pass over and we just deal with it. And they're not so big that it's like a massive operation to get it back in order.
Exactly.
And they're not damaging
No, it's
the
not.
actual. It's just dirty sheets and I'm
There's nothing much that can damage,
Ross,
really.
there's nothing much that phases us. Like, to be honest, I think...
I see that. I do. I think you do come across that way, which is very good. You know, he's talking so nonchalant there about, you know, the debt and stuff, and it obviously worries you, but you've got on with it. It's great.
Yeah, well, there's no point in hiding behind it, really, you know. I mean, that's the thing. You could hide
But I
behind it
think-
and say everything's fine, but it'd just be a lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
I think that's why you've went down so well on this farming life. 'Cause
We're-
folk
we've-
can't believe you talk about a thing like that. Because like, when I talk about my farm and my mortgage, like folk think it's amazing that you talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, why?
We try to share it because we genuinely think, and Andrew particularly we touched on this in Farming Life, we talked about, you know, mental health in farming. And I just think if everybody was just a wee bit more honest, that is not an easy gig. And yeah, some people's version of easy is different from the next person's and whatever. But I think if everyone was just a bit more honest, we'd all see that we're actually all just trying to head the same way. Possibly some of us start from different positions and, you know, but we're just trying to get to the same way, the same point. And, you know, you often think if everybody was just a bit more honest and like, yeah, it's tough. And yeah, I have got a massive mortgage and yeah, this and that. And I'm worried about that. It might just take a wee bit of burden off somebody who is really struggling.
It
to
feels
lose
the same
their-
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of us are in the same boat, you know.
Well, I like you guys talking about it makes me feel great. Because like my mortgage is like £5,000.
I know. I'm like,
So I'm like,
come on, Cam.
what am I even worrying about?
We're just pissing the wind.
I'm,
with that,
I'm,
that's no
I'm,
bother
like,
to us.
well, I listen to you guys and think how much worse it could be.
Yeah.
And that's what we like. We're often like, if you speak to somebody else and they go, oh, that's nothing. It makes us feel great for us.
Yeah, what were you worried about? I know. Aye.
I think there was just, it's what it is. I mean, yeah, we didn't expect it to go this way. And yeah, we could have probably packed in the towel when the interest rates shot up. But we are still here. We're not flush, but we've never missed a beat or, you know, we make it work and work really hard.
And you've got Charlie cattle,
Good cattle.
pure Charlie cattle.
Pure Charlies, yeah.
What are you doing with them? You showing them?
I'm going to sell them to you.
I don't think I'm man enough. I think that's a real. That's a man's kind of cattle. Like I don't think that's for boys.
Yeah, you need to work up to Charlie, I would say.
Aye. I don't think
Yeah,
that's
you
for boys.
possibly better not go straight into them.
Where do you go below it then?
I'm beef shorthorns, which I think as you've seen my beef short. I think that's a good job for a boy. Is beef shorthorns
Yeah.
like to learn on a bit. Even though I've got a lot to learn. I think Charlie's for like you've got to know your job.
Yeah.
Surely for starting out, you know, like start with like wee Dexters and a rope. I wasn't taught about the Highland show.
Dairy calves. I should have started with some dairy calves and worked up before actually calving cows. But
Some boys make good money at that, eh? Bucket rearing calves.
the calves, yeah. Aye.
It was, yeah.
I've had, What about Warndale Wagyu? You ever heard of them? No.
Yeah, the Wagyu.
Oh, we've done Wagyu.
With
What, on a contract? Or you just did
no,
them?
Jojo had Wagyu cattle for a while.
All right,
In
okay.
Caithness, yeah.
Yeah, we're at Caithness. But it's just couldn't get it going on the scale it would need to be going.
Or to sell the meat yourself, like, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, before we ever decided to move and things like that, that was, yeah, we were selling a wee bit when we moved down.
Do you know the lass that's from Caithness that's in this farming life as well? The Croft?
Sally, yeah.
Yeah, Sally, yeah.
Yeah, it was young farmers with Sally, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think she came across really well as well. Hardy, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Hardy.
Yeah. She's very clever, Sally.
Yeah,
Very, very clever.
Her mum was like that though. Andrew's dad used to work with her mum in the NFU.
Yeah, they used to be in the few together, you know, just as area-based folk, you know, and she's very good ideas, and Sally's kind of laid on for it, you know. She's a bit wacky at times, but she's a good laugh, Sally, with a good day. No, she won't.
No, I think,
With a good
but I
day.
think that's what made her so entertaining and the good personality about her.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
when we met up at the pre-screening, like, you know, we knew Sally, but we didn't know anybody else. When we met all the families, you know, we didn't know anybody else. So Sally had her wee boy and her dad was there with her. Our girls and our wee William were rather running about like lunatics, you know. And of course it was beer and wine, so Sally was just getting wired in about the red wine, and she was like starting to really get going about stuff and that. And I was like, "Gee, Sally, how much of that stuff you had?" "Oh, I don't know, maybe half the bottle." It was good laugh. It was good to catch up with her again.
Really
like,
thinks.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a good time for me to mention while we're talking about Caithness. A few weeks ago, I said in the podcast, I mentioned I think I must have been talking about female shearers, and I mentioned Helga Sinclair.
Oh yeah, Helga.
And I said that she used to shear. She very much still shears.
Still shears, aye.
So Helga, I do apologise. She listens to the podcast and she sent me a wee message. She says, "Don't worry, Cammy, I'm still shearing."
I should tell you.
I'm just too busy to get to the shows. So Helga, we saw you in This Farming Life. Look
Yeah,
good.
she's a young family as well now. Yeah, no, the boy she married.
She's hard as nails.
Yeah, she's a good lass, Helga. Yeah, she was one of the kind of first them to go off round and do the shearing circuits, and she had in her mind what she was wanting to do. So fair play to her.
Yeah.
How did your kids find watching it back?
Oh, Emily's, that's our eldest. She just went bright right when she went to the studio Glasgow and she saw it for the first time. She sat there and she's like, and I think she was a bit embarrassed because that was one of the first days of filming. I remember when I put that prolapse back in that sheep and I lost my bracelet. I just was knowing they're there, and it's the kind of thing that would have happened at home and it would be sorted. We would never have even spoken about it again. And I don't know why. I just was really conscious that the camera was there and I forgot, but I just forgot. And then you said that. So Emily was like, "Mum, that was the bracelet." And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine, girls. I just washed it. It's fine."
You'd have a sheep's bum. That's what she said.
You lost the bracelet in the sheep?
Well, I had my bracelet on and I just literally, on the out past it was that kind of way of, I ran and got the water and everything, the harness, whatever. There was a kind of way where it just needed to go back in. You look at a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And we just dealt with it then and there. And I didn't really think about what clothes have I got on or what's jewellery situation. I just got on with it. And then it was just when I was right in, Andrew went, "Mind your bracelet, Jill."
Just backing it back in.
Yeah, so I was like, so I started trying to roll it. I was rolling it, trying to get it up my arm. And I could just see Emily, our eldest, she's quite, she loves reading, she's quite academic. Yeah. And when you say she's like...
She take after her dad.
That's
100%.
Yeah, the 20s are more...
Living and dad lived a bit and we're rough and tumble.
What ages are they?
Twins just turned 8 and Emily's 10. Right. So the twins like a good wrestle. I always like them to... Do you remember years ago on... you're maybe too young. On Britain's Got Talent, there was Stavros Flatley.
Yes.
So the two little guys.
Yeah.
That's what the twins...
The dad and the son, the Greek.
That's what the two like. They'll run around like that one in the house.
They love nonsense. They're good fun.
They get big enough now that they can bring Andrew right down to the ground.
They love.
So the birthday, they just love slime. You know that slime? Have you come across that with your wee fellas yet?
What is it?
Like just slime that they just muck about with and just play with
Play-Doh?
it.
Like kind of like Play-Doh?
Yeah, kind of like
Stand
No,
it in
we've
the
not got that
carpet
yet.
and stuff.
No,
It's good
God.
for that.
No.
The girls love
Mine's would
that.
eat it.
So I said, that slime, that's just the same as when you're lambing a ewe. You have to lamb a ewe this year. It's just exactly the same. It's warm. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll maybe try that this year then." So we'll see. We'll see if they follow it through.
Yeah, the older of the twins, she's dead.
Yeah, she's really good with animals. Yeah, she's
Really dead keen. And Abby, the younger of the twins, she's chaotic. She's lazy. Yeah, she is. She's in about everything.
She's good fun.
Yeah.
And what's the future for the farm? Like, what's the plans for the future? Obviously, we're talking about this new pod going up. What else are you thinking?
We're looking at, so we're dispersing the cattle. That's something that we've decided upon, haven't we?
Yeah, we're gonna. It's just so when we dispersed the cows up north, we kept the kind of core of the pure Charlies, and we took them down. We've never really got a chance to do anything with them. So probably within last year and us being tight for money, we just thought, well, they're not really making us a bit of money. We're spending a bit of time on them, so we'll just disperse them when they're looking well. I just can't. I can't get to shows. I'm just struggling to have time to spend on them. I know
Too busy showing Valley Blacknose. I know what you're saying.
No, we're not got any of them now.
Got rid of them too.
I got rid of them last year, yeah. To be honest, when we came out.
When you watched it back on This Farming Life, you thought, you need to go.
I'll be honest, I actually do
The same, isn't it? You just don't have time. Man.
There's so much
Yeah.
time. There's so much time.
Literally, see if you're not on it, washing
Oh,
off.
there's so much time.
It just mattered there, and I think again when I wasn't feeling my best at the back end of last year, we started trying to look at the business. We always reevaluate business, but we looked at it and we went, right, what parts actually make money for us just to have a roof over our heads and have the life we want, right? And you sit and go, right, the arable, yes, the sheep, yes, the pods, yes, but everything else we started going, right, that bit doesn't, that bit doesn't. And we're just not in a position where we want to be there to enjoy the kids, like, and be here as parents as well. You know, it's not all, you know, like I try and do a lot of my work when they're in bed and things like that. We want to be there. So yeah, the cattle, we're just not in a position to push that forward just now. And the Valley Black was really nothing. They were just stressing us out. I was trying to do them well, and you know, just feeling like you know, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah, just not doing it right. Yeah. So disperse the cattle. What you can do with the sheds?
Well, we talked about this. So there's different options. We've looked at B&B pigs. We've looked at putting more sheep on.
We're just tight for grazing for the sheep though. That's one thing that you guys got good grass down here. You know, we kind of struggle a wee bit.
Yeah, no, I can't believe you bought a farm there and you could have bought a farm.
I know.
Probably cheaper.
Probably
as
would have
well.
been. Well, there was actually quite a few down this way that were for sale then.
Yeah.
But we just felt we were going from
Too far.
yeah.
I think too, naturally you wanted to stay nearer the A9. Remember, because we were looking at Perthshire kind of way. And I think it's just because that we still feel like,
Not too far from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was familiar. We wanted to be near the markets, and we always thought, somewhere. We didn't really imagine going below Stirling, but like,
But then saying that's one thing that we did miss when we came down first is the markets. There's no local market in Fife, you know. So you've got Stirling, or we had Forfar, but there's no actual local market that you can go and stand at and see everybody.
Right,
See
so
who your
where's
neighbours
your
are.
local... How long are you... You're about an hour and a half to
Stirling,
you, are
aye.
you?
Stirling, yeah. So you've got Stirling, then there's Forfar, and then you've just got Aberdeen. So
Yeah,
you know, you're kind of, there's no market you can go and stand at and you know, read that's the people from there and find out who everybody is. You know?
do you mean like make a friend?
To
Make friends.
Make friends. Yeah, I know what I said.
Just do a bit. No, networking. That's
Networking, that's it.
Networking,
Getting a crack.
Yeah, because I
absolutely.
used to work at the market up in Caithness, you know, and it was you know, weekly sales and stuff, and it was a
It's
great
a
way.
great hub. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you see the same people
Get
the
a
whole
bit of
time,
lunch.
and you know exactly
mingle.
what trade's doing, what's happening. Whereas we've kind of lost that a wee bit without having a local market
Yeah.
as a hub to go and meet people and like-minded folk and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that you kind of miss out on. But you know, everything goes on the wagon now and away anyway. So
Yeah, aye, because you're so far. Yeah, that's we are spoiled here a wee bit. We've got air market, obviously,
Yeah.
which is great. Local market does a great turn. And I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because it is a local market, you know everybody there.
yeah,
There's always a bit of crack to be had. Like,
That's right.
So yeah,
That's
I
right.
understand that. Now I'm conscious of our time there. We're at the hour mark. You did just touch on quickly on B&B pigs. You're thinking about maybe B&B pigs at some point.
We're looking into it. Aye.
You've got the straw.
We've got the straw, and the muck would help us as well. So
What about
That
sheep
one
slats?
yeah, sheep slats would work well.
Because you put your sheep in December just now and
Yeah,
run them through for 4
yeah.
months. So
The reason we don't is because we
you've
get
got the straw.
We got the straw, so
Yeah,
we get
of
the muck.
course.
You know,
And you want the
that's
muck,
the reason.
yeah.
That's the
It's
reason.
probably not worthwhile. The feet would be the big saving, like,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah, because we've been on.
And the work as well, but the feet.
We have been on top of the feet, but they're starting to get. The funny thing was, we put some out to dose them.
Going well, is
Yeah,
it?
we
What
put,
are they?
we put them out to dose them, and we're just out for a day, and all of a sudden the feet must have gotten soft, and gee whiz, just
Some bother when they come back in,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, there was, yeah. So I can see slats for that, but slats are, you know, it's an
Crazy
expense, and that's the thing we've got to watch. With the payments we've got, we don't have a lot of money that we can be investing in this, that, and other thing straight away. So when we've got the straw there, it's
Tell the cattle now, like, don't put the money towards the mortgage, put the money straight back into something else. Like, because I mean, cattle are insane now. So
yeah.
how many cattle have you got? I'll do some quick maths for you.
There's 6 pedigree cows or in-calf cows, and then there's two in-calf heifers, and there'll be 4 yearling heifers and 2 young bulls and a senior bull as well.
I can get like 50 grand for them, no bother, eh? That'll get you about 4 sheep slats.
Yeah,
That wouldn't even do half a shed,
I know.
probably. Like, it's
That's
so
that's the thing.
expensive. Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah. I just put it to the
Could
mortgage.
you please not give them ideas?
It's not even 4 months of the mortgage. That's the terrifying thing.
I know.
We fell out, didn't we, in Lockerville with this? We did really well selling our tops. Yeah, selling our tops.
No, I hadn't sold the tops before I bought them.
I was queuing with the tops, so going up towards the ring, feeling positive, you know, thinking, oh, good, I hope this goes okay. And we actually got all right money for us. Like, for us, you know, even like £1,000 for selling a top to us, we'd be delighted with that, you know. And so that was great. On the way up, and Andrew said, I'm just nipping up to the side of the ring. I'll be back in a minute, stay with the tops. Okay, Andrew. It's fine. Whatever. And the next thing I heard all this fluttering of the ring. Morris, 3,000. And I remember looking around and I was like, what? And you walked back down and I said, what's was that you? And you went, oh, yeah, this is... So
I didn't know. I was pretty positive about it.
you were really positive. I was...
Good investment.
It's going to pay back any day now. There will be a return. You're right though. Hey, good stock pays. It's 50% of your genetics. That's the thing.
That's what I was telling her.
It's only 25 lambs. They pay it back. That's the incredible thing now. You think $3,000's dear for a tip? Well, you don't, obviously. Iona doesn't. She's like,
Oh, yeah. No,
So you got-
that's
you got-
different money, though.
you got a tip for $3,000.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
know.
rubbish,
We sell the rejects at the back of the shed for that.
They all say you buy cheap, you buy often. But there is within reason as well.
Well, yeah. Disappointing thing is with that fella is he dropped dead 2 days ago.
That's why it's so raw. That's why you're really upset.
I don't think we should be buying cheap again at that kind of money.
I said, what about that old boy? Remember that lovely tub? We picked this one up for £400 one time, just random at Lockerbie. And I tell you, was it a mum's way better than anything else?
Yeah, it's just a luck.
That's Andy Woodburn style. He likes buying them. He's got a few stories of buying them for pennies and turning them into
Turn them over.
big money with the breeding.
Yeah,
So
it's all about having an eye.
good. Well, listen, we look forward to seeing more of the journey. Obviously, folks should be checking you out on Facebook. You're big on the Facebook now. Logie Farm Newborough.
You Logie Farm, Newborough, that's for the farm.
We'll put links in the show notes and stuff like that, and it'll be on the screen because I see you're doing more and more posting now. So people always want to follow you after the show. So you're right onto it there, and obviously they can find you for the snug as well. Go and see the beautiful views and have fun in the one night only.
One night only.
It's available for
It's a
one
song,
night
isn't
only if you want. If you've got 2 nights in you, then fair play to you.
Prefer if
Go
it's 2
for it.
nights. Yeah.
So right, we have the quiz to do now. This is always it. Who's going to do the quiz? Do you want to toss for it, or do you want to?
I'm not prepared.
Andrew, you hit for it. But the questions like this
Go
week,
for it.
Iona, some
Fine.
week they're absolutely terrible.
They're
fine, no pressure. Right, okay.
Fine, Andrew.
Right, Andrew, what you like? Do you ever do the quiz? How do you do it? It's terrible. Who are you aiming for?
Yeah, probably a bit at the bottom.
Poor Colin. Colin got a one.
If I go alongside him, I'll be doing all right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Which American singer is famous for My Way, Fly Me to the Moon, and New York, New York?
Fred Astaire.
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
You knew that one.
In science, which PT is a tabular arrangement of chemical elements?
Not a clue. Oh, periodic table.
Yes. Which actor played James Bond in Casino Royale, Skyfall, and Spectre?
Daniel Craig.
Yes. Which US company is known for the iPhone and watch?
Apple.
Yes. Bono is the lead singer of which Irish rock band?
U2.
Yes. What is 8 plus 6?
8 plus
That's
6.
not
Right,
the same
that's a
quiz.
joke. Is this the same one?
8 plus 6.
Yes.
14.
Budapest is the capital city of which European country?
Hungary.
The Ballad of John and Yoko was the final UK #1 single for which band?
Beatles.
Yes. Which is the only day of the week with 9 letters in its name?
Wednesday.
Yes. By area, which is the largest county in England?
Pass.
Yorkshire. Auricular muscles are found in which part of the human body?
Auricular.
AURI.
Aye.
Ear. Damn it. Frank Skinner teamed up with which English comedian to write the lyrics to the song 3 Lines?
Bedell.
Yes, David Bedell.
David Bedell.
By population, which is the second largest city in Russia?
Pass.
St. Petersburg. Which car maker produces the Focus, Mondeo and Fiesta?
Ford.
Yes. Eric Theodore Cartman appears in which animated TV series?
Edmund. What did you say?
Eric Theodore Cartman.
Oh, I know that. Pass.
South Park. Ah. The English singer and television presenter Cilla Black was born in which city?
Liverpool.
Yes. Alan Titchmarsh, Charlie Dimmock and Tommy Walsh presented which long-running BBC garden makeover series?
Oh, what was that called again? Garden something. Garden Designs. I can't remember. Pass.
Ground Force.
Ground Force.
Time. I wouldn't have got that. I said Beach Grove Garden. Something. Time. That was solid. That was an 11.
Was it?
That was good, Andrew.
Although I can't believe that's the same. Is that the same quiz? It's solid. Right, you done it. That's the quiz
Yeah.
we presented. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good answers.
Good job.
there too. 11, mate. You're up number 3.
That's not
Very
bad.
respectable.
Above the hoof GP man.
I've got to say, Colin will be absolutely raging when he hears that, though, and there's a question 8 plus 6. His questions,
9 letters?
his questions were ridiculous.
I've heard some of them and they're like,
Oh, some of them are
Right.
absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous. We're going to change the quiz thing because
No, that
it's
was
so
great.
well.
It
But
was
well
good.
done, mate. Well done. Fantastic. It's been great to have you in. We'll see you next year. We'll see you at Helen Show.
Aye, Helen Show. No doubt.
See you there.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Cheers, cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.
And we're back now. The big controversy. These quiz questions.
I know.
No, Andy's good, obviously, of course he is. But 8 plus 6. Is that what it was? 8 plus 6.
Wednesday. What day of the week has 9 letters?
Well, that can throw people off. To be fair, that one, I can accept that one. But 8 plus 6, not even like 81 divided by 9 or something that just makes you think for a wee second more, which is
9.
Yeah, okay, you've got that. Good.
I was very good at mental maths at school.
Are you? What's
Not like complicated ones though.
What's the square root of 225?
12.
That's 144 you're thinking of. What makes sense? 225 square root.
15.
50. That's not really maths, so that's just memory,
Yeah.
to be fair. Which a lot of maths is. Mental maths. Anyway, thanks for going down that rabbit hole. Good on Andrew and Jojo for coming in. Andy, as we like to call him, more familiar. Good. I've got a good going Facebook page now. You can follow more of their story there. Logie Farm, Newborough. Obviously, catch up on iPlayer on This Farm in Life and watch their whole journey. There's some fantastic people on it this year. Have a watch at that. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll do us for this week.
It just doesn't feel comfortable not just touching quickly on the weather.
I'd love to touch on the weather all day. Can I just say all night? I would touch on that weather. Because she is good. She is fine. I tell you, she is fine.
It's unbelievable.
I'm only gutted I can't use your soundbite when you were saying I think it's going to be a good lambing.
I know.
You know what? If it'd been a disaster, we could have had a real laugh with that soundbite.
It would have been good.
But you've been proven right. Actually, I don't want to jinx it.
I know.
But looking at the forecast, as we see it today, looking for the next 2 weeks, I think no matter what happens now,
we're okay.
Amazing lambing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like if snow comes in May, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But even then, the lambs are big and strong.
Exactly.
Like, we're on for our best lambing ever. Definitely my best lambing ever.
That's the same. I feel like, honestly, at least 10 times a day, we keep being like, what an afternoon, or like, what a night.
And it's just getting warmer. It's like 18 degrees. As this comes out on Tuesday, we're filming this on the Monday, Tuesday, 18 degrees here. 17 today, 18 tomorrow.
Unbelievable.
Class.
So good.
Yeah, so no, we're very lucky. Making lambing vlogs, my first 2 days, they start on Tuesday as well. Mm-hmm. We're like pretty cruisy, nothing to report, lambing it. Then this morning, which was day 3 in the lambing vlogs, hung lamb to skin, big yow needing lambed, pulling the wrong leg, making an arse of it. So all that's to be seen on the lambing vlogs. They start over in the sheep game. Now, if you've enjoyed this and you like to support the channel and keep this pushing on and let's get more Friday chats going, do check out the merch store. I think we've got a restock there of things, have we? Not yet?
No, that's coming.
Ignore everything I just said. Do not look at the merch store.
No, look at it.
Look
There's
at
some
it.
things.
What is there? Bonnets?
There's no. There's like shearing singlets. There's some shearing hoodies.
We have 2 new colours of shearing hoodies coming that I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they're the nicest shearing hoodies that have ever been done.
I trust you. I trust every word you say.
You don't like one of them?
I'm not a huge fan of it.
It might be a flop. It might just be my taste. But then I look at the way Iona dresses and I think actually maybe that's a good sign. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I know you're wearing a Fed shirt now, but usually you're wearing like crazy things.
Like what?
Well, like a pink fluffy jumper thing.
A pink jumper? What's wrong with that?
No, but it's fluffy in that and
Not like that.
fair point. Fair point. I suppose it's the type of thing, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about me. Next week we've got Gokwan coming in to give us real fashion advice. Thanks very much for listening. We'll hopefully get a Friday chat or something going.
We will.
Do you know it's lambing time, so loads of people will be listening to podcasts just now.
Yeah.
So we should.
Why don't we record one on Thursday?
For a Friday chat. Right, might try and get you a Friday. I'm not promising you guys.
No.
We'll try and get you a Friday chat this week, okay? Because I know he's a lambing morning rounds. It's great to listen to a bit of banter and a bit of farming chat. I love it. That's all I'm into. So if you're out there and I can't even say if you're struggling because why are you struggling?
Well, some people will be struggling.
Well, you might be. To be fair, tell you're struggling. Lamb's getting too big. Singles getting too big.
Know.
I'm going to bring my singles in the shed.
Why?
Oh, 2 monster lambs
And
this
just
morning.
not feed them?
Well, I've never. No, I'll give them a wee bite in the shed, but they've not had a bite of feeding. The lambs are too big already. We're only 2 days in. My twins are massive.
Are they?
Yeah, sure, grass so in it.
It is.
Like they did a study and like it is the best grass known to
We've
man.
even got grass in Muirkirk.
Gee, honestly.
And Dad's going to kill me for saying that.
I know, because the lambs are bred on fresh air.
We're just worried. No, Dad's just worried that it goes.
Oh, aye, don't talk about it.
Oh no, we're not. No.
Okay,
and then we'll see the wee shoots coming through, and then we'll be like, oh, no.
Don't look at it. If you stare at it, if you stare at it, it won't grow. That's my mum used to say about my willy. But no, I'm not joking. Leave it in.
You threw me there.
Aye. Anyway, thanks to Andy and Joe again. Fantastic to have them on. Check them out on Facebook. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we're all fed by farmers.